Alright gentlemen, with this one right here, we are on the Vanguard and we are going to get into our definitive build 7.0 for the Occulus Bolt Carbine here. We're going to get into everything you see on your screen and we're going to talk about how this compares to some of your other weapons. So when it comes to the Melta and the Bolt Carbine, I have those two sitting above the Occulus, and it is mostly because the time to kill is slightly behind the Bolt Carbine when you're using the Occulus, and it really does show at times during your operation. But this gun does have extremely good contested health gain. For some reason, it feels like the contested health gain on this gun is better than the Bolt Carbine somehow, but then everything else about the Bolt Carbine is just better. So, you know, I hope this gun does get a little more love. Just make sure you are hitting your headshots with this gun, guys, because that is the main thing that got buffed with this weapon when they went in there and tweaked it. They really messed with the headshot multiplier, so it has one of the better multipliers in the game, and that is the best way that you're going to make this gun really feel how you want it to feel. Alright, for our class perks here, this is going to be very similar to our Bolt Carbine build, but we're going to make one important switch, and then we'll talk about that when we get there. So we're going to go with Battlefield Awareness. We are taking Fortitude, we have Launch Restoration, and then we have Restoration. And then when it comes to our core abilities, we're looking for Upper Hand for our extra knockback resistance. We want Conviction for our 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. This one is also a good one, so you go with either one of these. You're going to go with Killing 7 enemies to recoup your equipment quicker. And then melee finishers of Extremis and Terminus will restore 30% for you and your squad. Or if you are not running Absolute, then you go with Inner Fire. But if you're running Absolute, like the hardest difficulties, you go with this. Then we have Shockwave. The reason we're taking Shockwave here is because we want our diving kick to deal damage in that 5-meter radius. So it applies the 15% more range damage to more enemies. So every enemy that you hit with the radius should apply the 15%. And that just goes a long way with helping this weapon out a lot. And then this is the other one. This is the one that we're switching up to here, is Grim Determination. You're going to want this extra 15% in damage. So when your grapple is down, that's when your Oculus is going to feel the best and you're going to have the best time to kills. The only thing is with Grim Determination is you have to understand that it is not active unless you are completely out of your grapple. So when your grapple is at 0 and is recharging, that is when you're going to have the 15%. And that is when the Oculus Bolt Carbine, I think, feels the best. And then we're going to have Adrenaline Rush here to finish things off with our signature perk. And when we're getting to the Oculus itself, now it is a little ammo hungry. It goes through ammo extremely quickly. And like I said, the time to kill isn't quite where you want it to be. So you are going to want to run the ammunition version. And unfortunately, the way you want to set this gun up to get the time to kills that you want doesn't allow you to get this ammo reserve. So what we're doing here is we're taking enemies at a distance of 25 meters, take 20% more damage. You probably won't take advantage of this too much, but when you can, you know, definitely do. And then we're basically taking this top row because we need this right here. We want finish reload because we need our weapon to reload without us having to reload, or we're just reloading constantly, it feels like, without this perk. And then we're dipping down here for our 15% magazine increase, our 10% damage. And then you're going to grab another 10% damage right here. So that's kind of why we're running this pass. So we got 20% base damage. And then we are going with the 10% headshot damage, and the 20% headshot damage after using our class ability. Now, the reason we're going with the headshot damage over our class ability increase is because we have a good amount of base damage already on the gun. So if you take this, it's going to have some fall off in overall damage. Now, we don't have too much headshot damage on the gun, so it just makes a lot more sense to grab this headshot damage one right here. Now, if you're going to miss your headshots, then, you know, you're going to have to probably just maybe drop both these headshots, go with the ammo, and then go with the ability will increase base damage. But overall, this is going to make it the strongest. Just make sure you're hitting your headshots, guys. That's the main thing about this gun. It really has really good headshot damage. That's what they buffed about this gun. That's the multiplier they increased. And, you know, that's where the gun's going to shine. So you really have to be hitting your headshots as much as you can. And then for me, I like to pair it with the Neo Volkite, just to deal with like groups of things and things like majors and stuff like that, just to grab some extra major power. But obviously, dude, the heavy bolt pistol, just as good. I mean, even a better choice than the Volkite. I'm just looking for some variation to my builds. But overall heavy bolt pistol is going to be your strongest option, and you're going to run that in your ammunition version. And the Volkite, just set it up like this, go for this increased heating speed, and then you'll be good. And then just for me personally, when I am running this build right here, I am going with a blocking weapon just to have some extra damage onto my melee strikes, since my primary isn't quite as strong as some of my other options. So I really want the extra damage here. You don't have to take this if you don't want to, but it is going to supply you with, you know, a proper amount of melee damage that is really going to complement the Occulus bolt carbine. So if you can do it, definitely go with blocking. If not, then of course you're going to go with fencing, and then you can go with either one that you choose. I think the chainsword is the #1 choice, but they're both very good, and they will both get the job done in higher difficulties.
I doubt there is a gap between these both, but I begin to wonder.
Turning out pockets. I fear nothing. See its range before the fight. Finish and ready. Done.